Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bite Podcast with Raven and Rhe.
I'm Raven.
And I'm Rhe, and this is episode 6.
We have a lot to get into today.
We have a lot to get into today. We're going to talk about some controversial topics in Twilight, but first, we're going to talk about our two favorite sibling duos, the Clearwaters.
Seth and Leah Clearwater.
Seth and Leah.
Stepbrother and stepsister of Bella.
Yes. Stepchildren of Charlie Swan.
Yes. Where do we even begin? There's so much to unpack. So
Yes.
Okay, so obviously I think that in the saga they're like meant to be like the polar opposites. Like when we meet Seth, we automatically love him. But then I feel like when we meet Leah, we're kind of like, we don't like her.
Yeah, Leah grew on me as I got older.
Yeah, it was, for sure. Because when I was younger and I watched it, I was like, she's such a bitch. Why is she so mean?
Yeah.
But looking back at it, you kind of, like, she had her reasons to be upset, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, since we're on the topic of Leah, let's just get into her little situation. So her dad is Harry Clearwater, both of their dads is Harry Clearwater, who died.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Harry. While on the hunt for Victoria.
In the movie.
In the movie. In the movie. And he died, and then that caused Leah to phase into being a werewolf.
Yeah, they had switched it up, I think, because I think in the book it was the heart attack was brought on when he saw Leah phase. So that was another reason why in the book she was very bitter and upset, was because she kind of blamed herself for Harry's death.
Yeah, and did she phase because I know that when they phase when new vampires enter.
Yeah.
So was it due to Victoria being there?
Yeah, I think so, because the Cullens had left, and Sam was the first to phase. I think he had phased when the Cullens were still there, and then was just waiting on everybody else, but Victoria coming back constantly just, like, reignited the protector gene, and it was a surprise for everyone because no female had ever phased.
Yeah, and I think just imagine how scary it would be, like, to phase for Sam, especially because he was the first one to phase, and like
he was so alone.
Yeah, so that goes into our little Leah. Has a little love triangle situation. She is actually kind of the Quileute tribe's Bella, if you will, kind of.
Yeah.
Or if you look at it, Sam is Bella.
Sam is Bella.
Leah is Jacob. And Emily is Edward.
No wonder those two finally get along at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And remember we said that every coven member has a wolf pack counterpart?
Yes. Oh my
Sam
God,
is Bella's counterpart.
Oh my God.
You know what? And I don't think we had we did have a counterpart for Sam. I think it was Carlisle, or no, not Carlisle. I don't know if we had a counterpart for Sam.
I think no.
But now it's Bella.
I don't think so. No, because we said that Seth was Alice. We had said Leah was Rosalie.
Mm-hmm.
And but
I guess we got it all
she's
wrong.
Really Jacob.
Leah is Jacob. Emily's Edward. Sam is Bella. Because if you're unaware, but I think most people are aware that Leah and Sam were in relations. And then once Sam phased, he imprinted on Emily. It's a wolf thing.
It's a wolf thing.
He can't control it.
Oh.
And then I think that caused like the big, I don't know if I don't know what happened. Like, were they like gonna try to work it out, or he was just like, oh, I imprinted on Emily, so it's her.
I just finished rereading the chapter Imprint in Eclipse the other day, and basically, from what Jacob described was because he had already been distant with Leah when he first phased, because, didn't want to hurt her and all that jazz. But then when he saw when he saw Emily, it was just, he ended up breaking up with Leah, but he couldn't tell her why. And then it was Emily who told Leah Sam was kind of like pursuing her, and then that's when like the bitterness and anger started.
Yeah, and then once Leah got phased, she had she was kind of controlled by Sam then.
Yeah, because of the whole.
Yeah, and I don't know if they don't have direct line to Sam's thoughts yet. Not only if they imprint, right? Or what was because I remember Jacob saying something in Eclipse when they were at the beach, and then like Jacob was sitting there like all pouty and mopey. He said something about having a direct line to Sam's thoughts. But I don't know if it was. I feel maybe I'm like thinking about something else, but I could have sworn that it was something like that where he didn't have a direct line to Sam's thoughts. So I don't know if everyone does, or if it's only like an imprinting situation. If y'all are listening in and you're in the YouTube chat, let us know so we can know. But I could have sworn that there was something about a direct line to Sam's thoughts, but Jacob didn't have it. I don't know.
I have to look into that. Maybe you could be definitely right. It's just been a while, so
yeah, maybe I'm going
could
crazy.
Be the reason. It could be like a protector instinct, so it's like they're all like for the imprints.
Yeah.
So it's
I forgot. I mean, I'll look into it, and
Yeah.
in the editing, I'm gonna put like fact check. This is what I meant, or something.
Yeah.
So after Leah has also said something about imprinting. Also, is she not able to imprint?
So in the in the illustrated guide and in like Tumblr, in the Tumblr world of Twilight, which I used to thrive on, this was always Leah's destiny was talked about quite a bit on there, because a lot of people were upset that like Leah hasn't imprinted, and it was kind of alluding that she couldn't. But Stephanie Meyer didn't act like there's not a lot to go off of, so there is room that she could. She just hasn't found that person. It's just that with the illustrated guide, they always refer to an imprint as being as a she. Like that, it always, like how the illustrated guide is written in the imprint section is it's referring to as the imprinter is a he and the imprintee is a she. So it's like Leah would not fit into that, because it's like that, like the way it's worded, which I have a problem with that. Yeah. And that's probably something I'm gonna get into when we talk about controversial topics, because I really don't like that. And then Leah talks about, I don't know who said it, I don't know if she said it herself, but Leah, when she started phasing, it stopped her period. So it's like she doesn't even know if she can have kids while she's still phasing, which is another thing that will go in, because it says in the imprint part in the illustrated guide how, the goal is to, continue the line. So it's like, where does Leah fit into there? So I'm hoping Stephanie Meyer, because Stephanie Meyer did say that Leah was a character she'd want to write about and come back to. And I'm like, please. She said that she would get an ending, maybe not one that we would expect, but it's just like, why can't she imprint? So it's not an answered question because it's very gray.
Yeah, I think that she's left a lot of things kind of like hidden, I guess you can say, in a way. But I also which leads me to what I think what her future might be if she can't get her period. But let's just say, like, magically she can still have babies because she's not on her period. One, maybe it's due to, like, her body temperature, like, being risen. I don't know. I don't know why that just, like, makes sense to me. It's like if you get sick, usually, like, things mess up or something, you know? Like,
yeah.
So I was like, maybe that's a possibility. But something else is, what if she's just not meant to be imprint on someone who can have babies, like a vampire? And I know who you're gonna say.
Cherish, if you're listening, this is our moment. Because Cherish and I, we bond over this ship.
So
or what if, I doubt she will never. I don't think Stephenie Meyer would, but if she did, wow, I would be shocked. I would be like, why about Leah gets a girlfriend?
Well, I would love that.
I would love that.
Yeah, I think that I think that's great. Two great endings that I think that a lot of people would be very happy about. Will Stephenie Meyer do it? Who knows? Which is something that we can get into when we talk about the controversial topics, because that is something that is kind of aloof, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that if she did imprint, it would be just really interesting if she imprinted on a vampire. It would kind of switch up, like, what we know or what we've been told about this whole feud, I guess you can say, because that is also going to be, it's going to be something new for both of the, like, the vampire party and then the Quileute tribe, because just imagine Billy, like, like, finding out that Leah imprinted on a vampire. He's gonna, like...
Yeah.
He's gonna condemn her.
I mean, the whole, pack lost its mind with Renesme, and then she ended up being a key factor in the alliance between the two.
Yeah. Well, so I was gonna say, because Billy and I guess the leaders of the tribe, or the elders, they've never phased.
Yeah, they never did. They never got the chance because the Cullens had left by the time they
were,
had
like,
reached of age.
Yeah, so then literally everything that they've really known is always like the stories, right? Up until the point of Sam phasing and then them being like, whoa. But I'm sure they had their, like, suspicions or at some point.
Yeah, I think Jacob in Eclipse had said that his dad, Billy, had actually watched his great-grandfather phase. So, that's why, like, because Harry, Quillatera, and then, I don't know what number, I think the third, and Billy, it's like the story, like, they kind of knew the stories were real, because they had seen them phase. The kids thought they were just not making it,
Because they would tell them, they would have these, like, these meetings, and they would, like, share the stories and stuff like that. Which, honestly, I kind of, like, love that. I just love learning about, like, Native American culture, and
you too.
I think I just love their tradition of just, like, storytelling, and like just like besides the Quileute tribe, because they actually are a real tribe too. So I'm sure that they have a lot of these traditions. I just think that it's so beautiful that they, like, not Jacob Black's tribe, but like any tribe, you know, has these certain traditions that they keep in place. I think for a while on TikTok, I was on native TikTok.
I love it. Oh
I
my
love
gosh!
it.
Every time one pops up, automatic like. I love
Another thing that I love so much is, oh my gosh, I think it's Polynesian,
Oh yeah.
where they do the haka,
Yes.
and
I've
like
seen it.
New Zealand, they do it like they do it at their soccer games, and I just think that that's also super cool. Like, I love that stuff.
I love it too.
A little off topic,
Quick
but
little plug. If you're listening, if you're watching this, just a little like plug to donate and support the Quileute Tribe's Move to the Higher Ground project. There's a link in our flow page, but we'll also probably put the link in the description so you can go learn more information and ways to help donate and support. And if you can't donate money, that's okay. Just spread the word out because these people really need our help.
yeah, for sure. I think their school is in
Tsunami zone.
It's a tsunami zone, so it'd be super dangerous. And their school is what they use to teach their
Their history.
And so it's super important. That was one of my recommendations this week too, was to go donate.
Oops.
So
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were gonna do that.
It's okay. No, it's fine. Because it's like perfect segue to, I mean, we're only 15 minutes in, but that's my recommendation this week, guys, is to go, oh my goodness, I like dropped the box, is to go donate, if you can, to the Quileute Tribe Move to Higher Ground project. And then I guess another one is, I think we might have talked it previously, but the Carver Cafe, go donate to that. I'm not sure where they're at with their goal, but I'm sure that anything will help, even if they surpass their goal. There's a lot of people in the Twilight community that are selling shirts for Carver Cafe and organizing a lot of things just to help them raise money, because it's one of like the only last
film sites that is still
film
open.
sites that is running.
If you can't donate the $5 minimum to the GoFundMe, our girl Nicole did make a digital image on Etsy for $2, and 100% of the proceeds go to the Carver Cafe.
Yeah, we'll do like a separate little file. I don't know if maybe we can do like a Google file with a whole bunch of links, and then link that to our link tree. But that way we have the links for the Quileute. We have the one for all the ones for Carver Cafe, because there's a lot. And then, and if you can't donate, you can, just sharing it with people is always a good idea. I mean, share it with all your Twihards, or,
Put it on your Instagram story, your Twitter feed.
Go to anyone, who you might who you might know that likes Twilight, and be like, hey, remember the Quileute Tribe? Wow.
Yes.
Or hey,
let me
remember
tell you
Carver
something.
Cafe? Yeah, exactly. So that's always good. And then just by sharing it and getting it out there, I think it will be helpful. If you go onto TikTok and you search up like Quileute Tribe, there's tons of videos that give the links to their stuff, and you even going and sharing those videos to boost the algorithm so more people can see it. I know I think both of us posted a video about Carver Cafe, so you can go look in our pages. It's not that far down either.
Yeah.
You don't have to scroll through millions of videos.
Yeah. Also, guys, this is also a little side note for the Quileute Tribe. This happened a lot during summer and when quarantine first started. I don't know if it's still going on, but please, if you are doing this, please stop. Do not go to La Push Beach, and do not go to the reservation. It is closed, and you are risking the health and well-being of the people on that reservation if you go. So please, it is closed. They've said that. They love having people come to their land and show their culture, but not during this time. So please.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
They don't have the resources to recover if they were to get hit with their tribe getting sick from COVID. And there's a lot to talk about with the whole controversies, but people have not been very helpful, I guess you could say, either. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. We are on Leah, and so that was our recommendation this week. So it was Raven and Rhe's recommendation. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, I think that Leah, for sure, it would be cool if she imprinted on a vampire. But if not, just make her our LGBTQ plus queen.
Give her a girlfriend.
But the
Leah.
one thing I think that Stephanie should not do is, because I think that it'd be kind of a segue for it, maybe in Stephanie's mind, if Stephanie Meyer, if you're listening, anything we say today, take with a grain of salt, because we love the saga, but we need to recognize some things about it. So please don't hate us.
Please don't hate me. I promise this is all constructive criticism.
Yes.
That needs to be addressed.
So the one thing I was going to say that it's kind of a segue, I guess, in a way, is to make Leah transgender. Because if she's not getting her period, then that's not to say, that's not that having your period makes you female or not female. But I don't know. I just feel like some way, someone would find a way to twist that and just make it something not great.
Yeah. Don't do that, please.
And the last thing that we want to do is be offensive to any communities.
Yes.
So I think it's just we don't need to change. I mean, if that's where she sees Leah, then we love that.
I will support Leah just as long as she's written in the correct way. That's another thing. As much as I love Leah and I want more Leah content, I just don't think she's gonna get the justice, and I just don't want her character to
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just I know that Cherish has said it before to us that if Leah does not get to imprint, and if she doesn't find someone to love, and that she should just be killed off.
She should! I'm sorry.
And I agree.
She should have died in Eclipse when they had the chance. I'm sorry, I said what I said. Cherish, you and me, boo. we like this on this. Because,
there was
why?
There was ample opportunity to kill her.
There was.
Her off. Eclipse was one. She could have, not had Jacob, I guess, jump in front. Then there was also, I guess, breaking down part 2, I wasn't really sad for Leah's death.
I mean, I was sad, but at the same time, when I watch it now, the replay of it, I'm like, oh, God, why couldn't this be real? Just so you could save her the suffering.
You know what gets me more than it being Leah?
What?
Is the wolf. Just the fact that it's in wolf form is what makes me go oh my gosh, because I'm oh, my doggy, a doggy.
Yeah. What gets me is the fact that she watches Seth die. Yeah. And then she saves Esme of all people. Mm-hmm. It just gives me that, when Esme tried to give her that sandwich and she doesn't take it.
But Esme doesn't die.
No, Esme don't. Oh my gosh.
Do we have a list of everyone who died? Who would realistically be alive? Rosalie and Emmett, because we didn't really see much of their...
I will forever be upset we did not get Rosalie fighting some vampires. We got that one split second.
Or you know what? Even Emmett just taking a vampire, ripping them in half.
I wanted to see Felix and Emmett go at it.
Yeah. So who maybe who died? We have Carlisle died.
Jasper.
Seth, Leah.
And I think that was all from our side. I'm saying our side.
Our side.
Like, and then the Volturi tier.
Was kind of like
y'all know
everyone.
Volturi stan. Everyone. Except Felix.
Except Felix. So.
Felix was the only one who survived.
But could you imagine Emmett and Felix fighting? That would be wild.
Exactly.
And then Emmett and Felix are like, they're like fighting, right? And they're like vampire strong, whatever. And then Paul comes in to help Emmett. That would have been everything.
Oh my god. That would have been iconic. There was apparently it wasn't even a deleted scene. It didn't even make the cut for deleted scene. They filmed it, but then they decided to cut it before doing deleted scenes. It was Alice, Rosalie, and Bella tag teaming up. And I'm like,
that would have been great.
You know what? They couldn't do it. They couldn't do us for the girls and the gays. They just knew it would be too much.
They knew it would. It'd be, oh my god, it would be like Charlie's Angels.
Kristen Stewart. Yes! Yes!
Like, just imagine them, like, the three of them, like, walking, like, between, like, I don't know, like, some kind of fog or something that amounted during this situation, and then just like, kicking some Volturi guy's ass, like...
I'm so photoshopping a picture after this of Charlie Swan at the top, and then those three, and put Charlie's Angels. Yes!
That has to go on our Instagram. I'm dying.
Oh, put it on the Insta, on the TikTok. We should make it We should make it the thumbnail of this video.
We totally should. And then imagine my favorite part of the entire fight scene, or the fake fight scene, right, is when after, I don't know what happened before it, but right after it's when Sam was walking up and he was like, boom, like walking super cool with like someone's like hand in their mouth. I was like,
it was
yes,
Alex.
Sam. I was like, Sam, come on.
That hand was Alex, and he was walking up to Jane. I was all like, oh, what a power move.
And she was like all scared, like, yeah, be scared, run away.
Oh my god, I remember 12-year-old me in the theater when Alice was chasing her, and I literally was in my head screaming, "Don't get her, Alice! You get that bee!"
Wait, okay, but she did run away, right? She was running away.
Yeah, so Jane had tried using her power, but then, you know, Bella, Shield Swan swoops in, and Jane's all like, oh, okay, I can't do this, because Jane and Alec never had hand-to-hand combat, because they never needed to. Mm-hmm. So she ran, and then Alice, I guess, jumped from behind to get in front of her, and then I was like, yes!
See, and I think that's where Arrow fails a little bit, because although, like, he has these, like, powerful, you know, vampires that have powers and all that stuff, he doesn't really, like, train them for combat. Which is very telling, because, you know, like, all of the Volturi died, especially him, you know? And then although, like, we did lose some key members of the Cullens at that point, but it was like, I mean, they were kind of like winning the odds, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I always give a good laugh whenever after the Volturi show up and it does that pan and you see like just the difference. It's so comedic to me, because you have it's not a lot, even with the wolves. So...
It's like I guess it's kind of like a quality over quantity type of thing. Because Arrow's very much like, I have all these people behind me. But then the Cullens were like, well, we have these people, and, like, it's not as many people as you. But we still, like we got it made over here, like, you know?
Yeah. I always think of it of how, like, the difference between a leader and, like, a boss, because it's like a boss will stand behind the people that fight for them, which would be like Aro, Caius, and Marcus, because they stood behind while everybody else went. And then a leader would be like Edward and, like, the Cullens, who ran toward with the people they were fighting for. So
I have a small little theory about the battle. I don't know if the girl who controlled Marcus was there at the fight. We don't see her.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think that she was there and died. And then,
like to think that too.
as soon as she died, her, like, controls over Marcus went away. So when they were about to kill him, he was just like, finally, like, you know.
Yes, we didn't see Chelsea, but I think she was there.
I think she was there.
The scenes. They had the wives there.
You know what?
They had people. Yeah.
I think Rosalie killed Chelsea.
Yes! I'm so sorry. Sorry, headphone users. I'm like right by the mic and I'm over here screaming.
Your mom downstairs like, what?
Oh my god. And you know, that breaks my heart because in the vision battle scene, Felix kills Seth. And I ship him with Leah.
Dang, right? That's
the only where it breaks my heart, where I'm like, okay, no more. And then, but then you know, I see it, I'm like.
So yeah, I mean, let's talk about Seth. Probably the death that shook America. The worst, like, oh my god, I don't even want to get into it.
My heart's pumping. My heart's pumping. Oh my god. It just. That's where I hate. Look, I'm a Volturi stan. I go hard. I ride for them because my boy Dimitri, my boy Felix, and I don't know about Jane. But I love her. I think she's so cool. But in this scene, I wanna be the one to take her head.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I can't even just like. Because Jane did the whole pain thing on him, right? And then that's when Felix came in, you know? And then you see, like, the light from his eyes going, I'm like, no.
That's where, and then Leah's howl, cries. Yeah. My brother, oh my god, when I showed him the scene for the first time, he was like, no!
I have my friend, she never watched Twilight ever, and this past like summer, we finally like sat down, and she would come right after work, and cause she'd have to be home by 12, so she would come right after work, and we would like sit down and watch a movie, and like if we could get like halfway in between one, we would like watch it, and I was like, you're gonna have to be here, like, breaking down part 2, like, you need to get here early. I was like, you're gonna need a moment. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're gonna need a moment. And I was like, and I just need you to mentally prepare. And she was like, okay. And then I have the whole recording on my phone, and she was crying bad.
See, and I think that's what amazes me about Twilight is it's one of those series that people who, you know, back in the day when they could not stand it, they refused to watch it, and then maybe, you know, someone they know just is like, just give it a chance. It's one of those series where you don't expect there to be that type of action. And then, you know, you get a little bit of a new moon because Felix and Edward go at it. And then you've got the eclipse battle. But then in Breaking Dawn Part 2, nobody expected anyone to ever, like, get killed. And even though it was a vision, we thought it was real.
But I think that's, like, the best part of it is that it was a vision. Only because even though at the end you're like, fuck you, Alice, because you had to show us this, like, thing, and we're, like, so sad. But, like, you would never expect it. Like,
exactly.
You think that it actually happened, and then when it shows you that it's a vision. When my friend realized it was a vision, she was like, what's happening? She was like, no. Oh my gosh.
Why give me a heart attack, raise my blood pressure for that?
I know. And in the book, too, it didn't say, it just said that Alice showed him a vision, but we don't know what it was. So just the fact that Melissa Rosenberg.
You know, I have some comments with that woman, but she really served.
On that scene, she was...
And Stephanie Meyer, because Stephanie Meyer said it was her idea. And I'm all like, sis, we're gonna have a little talk.
I wonder if she had that idea when she was writing the book. Like, she was like, oh, Alice is good. Like, if she already knew what Alice was going to show him. But she was just like, we'll leave it up for interpretation. Because I think at that point when she was writing Breaking Dawn, she already knew that she was, like, set up for 3 more movies, you know? Or 4 more movies. Yeah. So, I think she was just like, well, leave it up and they'll have to. Because Breaking Dawn came out, like, the book came out when?
2008.
And the movies came out 2012. 11 and 12, so
yeah,
she knew. She knew.
Oh my god, so, I wish I was at a midnight premiere for that.
I don't think I went to any midnight premieres. I always saw them in the movies, but I didn't go to any midnight premieres.
I didn't either.
Sad. You know what? At the movie theaters, you can hold private showings of any movie you want. And I'm like, I just want to get a group of my friends. We'll all, like, socially distance, like, in the seats. And we just go watch all 5 Twilight movies.
Yes, let's get the group chat together.
We'll be at the movies, like, for hours just, like, watching Twilight. The workers will be like, are they okay? When we're, like, screaming or something.
When Bella and Jacob kiss. No!
Oh my gosh, I want to do that, and then if we ever do that, you know, we have to make it seem like a premiere, like act like we've never seen the movies before. Just be like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited.
Oh my god, we go in. Oh my god, that's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my goodness, because I do know. I remember seeing Breaking Dawn in theaters. And just, like, the sound from the audiences were wild.
Oh, my God. Yes.
I love when there's interactive audiences like that.
Oh, my God, yeah. And they've gotten more like that over the years. Because when I saw Avengers Endgame in theaters, that was an experience.
Yeah.
You could feel
I remember, yeah. I saw that one, too, in theaters. So, after Seth died, and then Leah died... I think that I was so sad, and the main reason I was really sad, one, because he's Seth and we love him. 2, because this entire time, like, in New Moon and Eclipse, they were always talking about how, like, no, Seth, like, you're not gonna fight, like, you're gonna be, like, the watchdog, you know, kind of, like, for Eclipse, like, he was just supposed to be, like, the line between them, and he ended up, like, rocking it and killing Riley.
Love him for that.
So I could just imagine, like, he was just like, I know that he just had to, like, beg them to let him fight. And he was just like, please, like, I want to help. And then that happened. So, well, it didn't happen, but it could have. And that just makes me more sad. And then I think that maybe that was one reason why Jacob was sad when he was, or was going through the motions whenever he was, like, running away with Renesme, was because, like, he felt like some kind of guilt, like, oh, I let him fight.
Yeah, like the guilt, and on top of loving him like a brother, and oh my god,
that's sad. Well, so we already said that Leah should either imprint on a vampire, imprint on anyone, or die.
Imprint on anyone or die.
And I think it's the opposite for me for Seth. I don't want him to die.
No.
But at this, when we see him in the new book, if we see him in the new books, will he be an adult?
Yeah. He'll
be like 18.
Let me see. The rumor is that the new books are going to be set like 5 years after. 4 or 5 years after. Seth was, I think, 14, 15 when he was first introduced in New Moon. So by the time of Breaking Dawn, he was, I think, 15, 16. So yeah, he's going to be like 20.
Yeah.
He's going to be like in his 20s.
So I guess that does not leave room for... Well, because the big thing, I guess we're getting into it a little bit, is the whole Jacob and Renesme situation. Our first controversial Twilight topic. So I've heard a lot of people say that they think that that Seth should have imprinted on Renesme. It would have solved the problem too, like the same way, like if Jacob imprinted, it would have solved the issue. But then at the same time, like, well, it wouldn't, I guess, it's just such a difficult thing because even though Seth is younger, it would still, I guess, be weird, because he is old. He's like
he would be physically older.
Physically older.
Mentally older.
So I guess it's just weird.
It's just a weird situation regardless. That's why I really wish it was just like they decided to wait and just see how Renesme was until after she was born to see if she would do something and just wait it out. And once they saw that she wasn't a problem, then it would have resolved the issue. And then when she reaches, a physically and mentally mature age, then one of them could imprint on her.
Yeah. And I think that it could have been like that. The only thing is I think maybe Stephenie Meyer was thinking like, well then how come, like maybe that people would have been like, oh well then how come Jacob didn't imprint on her from the beginning? Like if that was his imprint, kind of like if he were to imprint on Bella, it would have been early on, like it probably wouldn't have been like later, like I guess Jacob was hoping.
Yeah.
So I guess some of it is for continuity's sake because it's like, well, you can't say this and then something else happens. But Stephenie does that a lot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so Jacob and Renesme, man. I was back in the day I understood it. It made sense. And then as I got older, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I think that I can see where she was going with it, Yeah. I don't know if it was executed the best way possible. I think that we could, I just feel like there should have been another solution. Like, it could not have possibly been, that could not have been the only possible solution is Jacob imprinting on Renesme.
Yeah. And another thing that a lot of people, their defense is, also that, Stephenie Meyer didn't want Jacob to end up alone and have at least someone. So that's why Renesme was so that he did end up with someone. But in my head, I'm like, you could have just wrote a throwaway character. Someone came in, they were visiting.
She could have had Leah imprint and Jacob.
Yeah.
Which would have been, I think that would have been maybe not more interesting to me, but that would have been, I guess, kind of it would, it would be interesting because Leah and Jacob were had this love-hate relationship kind of. So it would have been interesting to see how they would navigate that rather than Jacob being overprotective and all this stuff over Renesme. Another thing, Jacob started his own tribe, right? It was
when he broke
his own pack.
He didn't intend to, but when he broke away from Sam, then Seth had started, and then by because I guess with the ranking and everything, Seth looked at Jacob as the alpha, and then when Leah came, it just so his pack kind of just formed unintentionally.
Yeah, and then Jacob was helping all those younger wolves too. So I think another possible solution to maybe them not killing Renesme is if Jacob and Carlisle had just started a treat, their own treaty. between each other.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Jacob and Edward could have right there, like, signed some papers, did some kind of blood or some kind of sacrifice, I don't know, but like where it's like, oh hey, like you were protected or something, like where that was some I think it would have been, I can't maybe explain full details, but Stephanie is a creative lady, like she can figure this out. Like it doesn't have to be Jacob imprinting on Renesme, because then then we kind of get into the, like, I guess the root of the situation. So trigger warning to anyone, but you know, that goes with the whole like pedophilia, child grooming situation.
Yeah, and I respect people's opinions, and I understand I know a few people that are like, you know, they support the Jacob Renesme because they see it as like, you know, he's gonna just be whatever he is to her, like he's gonna be a friend, a protector, a brother, and I agree, and that's why I would probably support it if as long as the relationship stays platonic. If it just does not turn romantic, then maybe I could get by on it, but just if it turns romantic, it doesn't sit right with me.
Another thing that I could maybe see happening, Stephanie, if you're listening, we're giving you great ideas, is maybe the only reason that Jacob imprinted was for this like protective instinct, like you were talking about. Like he felt connected to Bella because he like loved Bella. And so when he saw this baby, like even though he wanted to kill it, so it was like he kind of, I want to say maybe it's like a temporary imprint. Like it was like instinctual. Obviously he can't control it. It's a wolf thing, whatever. But maybe I think it would be interesting if like somehow at some point that gets broken. Like the imprint gets broken. And then Jacob's like, well, because at that point, if it were to get broken, the wolves don't want to kill Renesme anymore.
Yeah,
he has no reason to protect her anymore besides the fact that he's imprinted on her now and Bella is her mom and whatever. So I think that it would be an interesting thing to see in the books if possibly like at some point the imprint gets broken. And then he ends up imprinting on like Leah or I don't know, something like.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I think that if they were to, I think the movies kind of really solidified the idea and notion of the child grooming, only because after, you know, Alice, that I think that was a bad move on their end. That was Melissa Rosenberg, maybe not.
And that's the thing, because first of all, that vision scene shouldn't have even happened because Alice isn't supposed to see their future. The only exception they made for Alice seeing Renesme and the wolves was for the battle scene and the way they did that. But then again, they kind of used the defense that when Alice was away, she was able to evolve her gift because she's been around Renesme and been around the wolves for so long. But then I'm like, no!
Yeah, I think that, because what happens at the end of Breaking Dawn? Is that ever, like, said? Like, that Alice had a vision of Jacob and Renesme being together?
I don't even know.
I don't remember.
I don't even think there is that scene. I think they go home, they part ways. I have Breaking Dawn with me right now. I have to reread it because I haven't read that one in a long time. I always Breaking Dawn's not my fave. It's not the one I kind of, like to read all the time. Yeah. And I think I only really read like the last couple pages because it makes me cry. And I think they part ways, and I think that's when Edward comes to accept that Jacob is going to be in their lives, and he's happy that she has him, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. Well, I guess it's just it's a sticky situation, because if Jacob does, like, somehow unimprint on Renesme, then he doesn't live forever, right? Because
Yeah.
technically he can live forever, right, like, as he is now, because as long as he continues phasing, because he would live as long as Renesme lived.
Yeah.
Basically.
And that was the thing that we talked about in our last episode, like, will they ever age? Because, they're not technically immortal, but it's like they
I wonder if it's just
age.
I wonder if it's like they kind of, because it's like they'll be anything they need them to be. So technically, if Renesme needed someone immortal, he would be immortal, like, because of just like supernatural reasons, like.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's not gonna age. I think that as much as I would like to say, like, hey, he shouldn't, like, have imprinted on Renesme, or like he should unimprint on Renesme, do I think it's gonna happen? No. And I really hope that Stephenie Meyer, I don't know, goes about things in a different light and makes it be more like Jacob is actually her big brother, or like uncle, or something, instead of this person that she's supposed to be with forever. And that's what kind of like the movie alludes to, but I mean, obviously there's differences between the books and the movies. The one mistake that the movie made, and I think that is why people are maybe put off about the reason about a Renesme book, is because the movie clearly stated that Jacob and Renesme will be together as a couple. And they did that by showing Alice's vision. And then they took it a step further and told Jacob to say, should I call you dad now? Like
that. And in the book, Edward says son, and I'm like, gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to slander. It does not sit right with me. And the thing is that
I like the movie Edward, because the movie Edward was like, no, get away.
No.
Book Edward was like...
That's the thing that clicked with their reactions to the freaking imprinting. They cut out Edward's reaction, which... Because in the theatrical release, everybody's like, where the hell's Jacob when, they're about to get cornered. Mm-hmm. It's like, where's Jacob? And then he jumps out of the side door out of the blue, and people are like, well, where did he go? Where was he? I mean...
Well, it was because after he imprinted, obviously, movie Edward Edward's reads minds, and then Edward read his mind, and then he dislocated. He got Jacob and did some maneuver and threw him to the wall and dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah, and knocked him out. And then Bella was pissed off. So it's like their reactions. Obviously, they thought what we all thought.
Well, because there hasn't been any examples of imprinting situations where it's platonic. Because we see Paul and his imprint. We see, well, for like a split second. We see Sam and Emily. We see a couple of other of the boys.
And then and that's another thing. See, I have to also apply this to Claire and Quill, because she's a toddler, and even though he's underage, he's a minor. It's still kind of the same thing. So that relationship also applies to how I feel like I want it to stay platonic.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of it would be different for me if maybe they had an agreement, like, hey, like, yeah, you imprinted on my daughter, but we need to have boundaries here, and you're not, like, it's super inappropriate for him to come around the family while she's young and growing and say, I'm a big brother, I'm an uncle, blah, 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 blah. And then to, like, when she gets older, be like, hey, You're kind of cute. Like that's wrong. That's like child grooming 101. Like,
yeah,
100%.
definition.
And the same thing for Quill and the toddler. I think that if that is something that she wants to keep in her thing, like the whole imprint, like you could imprint on anyone, then there needs to be some like clear rules. If you imprint on a toddler, a baby, I don't think you should have any involvement of that child's life. Like, like you should not be a like active member of their childhood, because then you start getting into those topics of the child grooming about, I mean, like it kind of sucks because I mean, as much as I love that we're going to get new Twilight Saga content, I think that it just sucks because it feels like Renesme does not have free will at this point. Like, she's going to, like, that's why I'm excited to see, like, what Renesme thinks about all this. Like, we're seeing her point of view. She's like, already going to be, like, adult-ish at this point, right? Like, teenager years. So she should have clear, concise thoughts about her, like, and her opinions. Yeah. And the only, like, I would just hate it for her to, like, find someone that she really likes in high school, and then Jacob's there, like, no, you know, like that's one thing that I'm like scared that's gonna happen.
That's gonna be something that really makes me upset, is if that happens, because honestly, she should go and explore other
I think that would make me less mad about the whole situation. Not that I'm not saying that child grooming or anything is excusable, if you know, but I'm just saying that if Stephenie Meyer really wants Jacob and Renesme to end up together, then I think the only way that can happen is if, while she's in her like teen years or whatever, even though she's still like 9 years old, or like she's gonna be 7, like she'll be a teen while she's 7. I think that she needs to let Renesme like experience life, like let Renesme go off and do her own thing.
And that would just be like because Edward pushed Bella so hard to try and do that. He tried to stay away, but it was all like he wanted her. That's why he left a New Moon, was, even though I still Edward can catch these hands. It just like he wanted Bella to explore life and to maybe find someone else, even if it would hurt him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that I really hope that that's something that we see that even though Jacob has imprinted on Renesme, even though they may or may not end up later together, I think that it's really important to let Renesme go off and explore and, you know, fall in love and whatnot. And, you know, if her and Jacob end up after she's already kind of like, I think that it should happen naturally. It shouldn't be something like Jacob is sitting there trying to control her every move, like who are you hanging, like, you know, because then that's when it gets into the whole like child grooming. Like, she's not gonna feel like she has a choice, and that's like super important. Like, I think that's a really important thing to for Renesme, and I think that for the fandom too. Like we just want Renesme to have a choice, and by Jacob imprinting on Renesme, it kind of leaves her without that choice. So I don't know, that's like the main one. There's this article here, and it was like, the article was like 10 things wrong with the Twilight Saga.
I love reading those.
Yeah, it's so funny. So number 7 is Nessie and the World of Discomfort. It says, apparently the solution to the social discomfort created by the ridiculous and more than a little icky adult Jacob imprinting on baby Renesme was a terrible joke about Loch Ness. Kristen Stewart clearly didn't want to deliver that line. We didn't want to hear it. Yes, humor is great. A great way to deal with the elephant in the room. But A, this is a joke that wasn't actually funny. And B, this particular elephant is the kind that needs to submit its name to the local authorities so it can be on the watch list. Perhaps if they made that joke, particularly given Charlie is a local authority, perhaps it would have. No, not even then. Bella's reaction to the imprinting was that of a shocked mother who has read ahead in the script, is what they said. Maybe not my opinion, I don't know. But everyone just wanted to get past it and hope the audience would forget. We didn't. The film should have been proud of its genuine, unique story, worn it with pride. Perhaps had one character always make jokes about it, by being ashamed of it, it just made the whole thing worse. So I think I see what they mean. Like, even having them get mad about it is also, like, concerning, I guess, because it's like, well, clearly that's what they thought of it, you know? Like, they thought of it like that. So I think that they were saying that maybe, you know, like, they sat down and had a conversation about it instead. And then, like, we had Emmett here as the comic relief if we wanted to make jokes about it. And, like, Emmett every now and then would be like, hey, like, you imprinted on a baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Emmett would definitely be the one to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like Seth would also tag team with that.
Do we know? Oh, 100%. Do we know if how the other Cullens reacted to Jacob's imprint?
I don't know. I don't.
Because I know, like, I don't know if Carlisle accepted it, but you know, when that whole fight thing, they were like, they can't do anything. Like, Jacob imprinted on Renesme, and they kind of were just there, like.
See, I don't know. I'm basing this off of the movie. We only kind of see Emmett and Rosalie kind of be like, oh, do tell her, Jacob. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you're in for it.
I for sure think that Rosalie would have been pissed.
I think she would. I gotta reread Breaking Dawn. I don't, because, you know, we have that nice good old section of just Jacob's point of view.
Yeah, that lovely section.
And I gotta see, because I think in the book, Renesme was with Rosalie when he did it, so we shall see. Yeah. But Stephenie Meyer, if you're listening, this is all I gotta say. When you finish these books, it'll definitely be it's been 10 years since Breaking Dawn came out, and it's gonna be 10 years since the movie came out. We're not as accepting as we were back then. I just want her to know that, like, if she goes with what she has planned and it goes the route that we're thinking, it's not going to get well received.
It won't. And I guess we'll have a good episode then.
Oh my god, the Bite Podcast, episode 100, 200 something. She did it again. That'll, guys, if Stephenie Meyer releases this book and it is literally exactly what we think it's gonna be, our title is not even gonna be like a tricky title. It's gonna be She Did It Again. She did it again. Oh my god.
You heard it here first, folks. She did it again. Am I still going to read the book? Yes. But I think it's super important that even with us talking about all these, like, controversial topics, that we yes, we love the saga and we love it, but it's really important for us to recognize the things that are wrong with it.
Yeah. That's just good critical thinking.
Yeah. And I think that, maybe it helps Stephenie, because maybe she'll kind of, like, look back. And I guess that leads me to my next topic, because we were talking about the Quileute tribe. And another little controversial topic is kind of the racism in the Twilight Saga.
Yes.
One being with the Quileute tribe.
Very misrepresentation.
Very misrepresented. I don't know if maybe she did research and had just found out that there was a tribe that happened to live there and was like, oh, hey, like that'll be cool. I think it would have also been, like, not bad if she just made her own tribe, like a different tribe that was not, like, the Quileute people, because that's, like, their identity. And although I think that they've been very accepting and loving of the people who, like, love them because of the saga and all that stuff, I don't know they were not represented very well.
They were not, and it fit. She played into a lot of negative stereotypes about Native American people, and then the words that were used in the books are very, terms that shouldn't be used to talk about Native Americans, natives, or indigenous people in general. It just... It
hurts my soul a little bit, only because I think that, well, I guess one big stereotype is she painted the indigenous people as these like anger issues, really hot-headed people, like, and we see that with Sam, we see it with Paul, we see it with Jacob. And that's one thing that's really bad. It's like, oh, well, they're not the people, like, they're not the vampires who are pale skinned and all this stuff. They're the people of color who are the ones getting angry and hot-headed and all that stuff.
Yeah. And because I'm in between. I love both the Pack and I love the Cullens, but I recognize the flaws in both the characters. I really be at the Cullens' throat a lot, and then people are like, why would you do that? And I'm like, because you need to see what is going on here. She's painting them as the good guys because they're her, godly, like, white characters, and then you see how she represented the natives, and it's not right.
Yeah, no. And I think that's another thing that I don't think the Quileute tribe gets enough support from Fickle Fish Films or
they did not get compensated at all.
Yeah, or any of the other, publishing or Stephenie Meyer. Like, I think that Stephenie Meyer, Fickle Fish Films, any of these people, don't sue us, by the way. Don't sue us.
Please don't sue us. But we're giving you...
We don't make that kind of money, but...
Yeah, we're trying to give you advice.
Yes. We think that, like, they could have easily donated this amount, like the amount of money they needed, very easily. They weren't asking for that much, and that's something that, like, granted, the actors shouldn't feel obligated. The actors especially shouldn't feel obligated to help out the Carver Cafe or to help out the Quileute tribe, because they were there for a job. But I think the people who should feel a little obligated to help out the tribe and the Carver Cafe are the people who kind of used it for monetary purposes, like Stephenie Meyer and Fickle Fish Films, et cetera. Like, they could have, like, they were, like, Carver Cafe was asking, I think, for $10,000. Like, that's something that they could have... money, this company makes a lot of money, Yeah,
and it just, because, of course, I understand Twilight was not supposed to be the saga that it was. It was originally just Twilight, and then, so it's like, it makes me wonder what would have been if it was just Twilight, because she didn't really go into depth with the tribe. It was just the tribe, and then, that was there. And it wasn't until she wrote, like, the rest of the books that, she gave more in depth with them, and that's when it really turns into, like, the issue, is because there wasn't enough research. She didn't go to the reservation and, like, talk with them, ask permission, get the necessary information needed to accurately represent these people.
And I think that the director of New Moon, which is another reason why I think, like, New Moon is partly, like, it's not one of my favorites, but I really like it, is because the director had actually went to do that. Like, he went and sat with the people and talked about them and heard their stories. And then I think when he was there, one of the little kids gave him this traditional drum, and they actually he used it as a decoration in Emily's and Sam's house.
Yes.
So
oh
it's
my
stuff
gosh,
it's stuff like that, like doing proper research, like wanting to be as respectful and of this tribe whose name was being used. And I think that's something that I really liked about the New Moon director. And then it also goes to show, like, okay, well, a lot of the people that they wanted to hire as this tribe members had to be Native American, and they had to have paperwork showing that they were Native American. But then I had read somewhere that, like, that, not that that was like a ploy or a lie, but that a lot of them, like, couldn't actually prove that they were.
Hold on.
You're fine.
What? Yeah. Dad, I'm recording. God. I'm so sorry.
I'll cut it. But yeah, so I don't think a lot of them, I had read somewhere that not a lot of them could actually, like, prove that they were actually Native American. I mean, like, even, like, Jacob is not even Native American.
Taylor, yeah, that's...
Or, well, I guess
that was
Jacob is
Native
Native
American.
American.
That Chris Weitz actually thought about firing Taylor Lautner because Taylor isn't. He's distantly.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, in order to show, to, like, you know, kind of make it better, they kind of, you know, he's distantly Native. Mm-hmm. The actress who played Emily, she apparently claimed that she was Native, but she's not. Which I have an issue with that, because I'm like, girl, no.
But yeah, so I think that even, like, because there was, like, I think there's a lot of, like, maybe false narrative. Like, a lot of people were like, they have to show papers that they would prove and take papers that they were Native American. But, like, let's be honest, like, people forge things, people make up stuff. Like, that's kind of stuff is really easy to lie about, I guess you can say. I did a 23andMe, and I have, like 18% Native American. I don't look it, but, you know, but, like, that's like if I were to do, you know, if they were going to make a new Twilight movie, and they were like, we're looking for people who are Native American. I'm like, hey, I'm 18% Native American. Like, let me go do that. I don't think that that's right. Like, I don't use that as in my identity. I think that's, like, super wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, granted, like, whatever, like, that's not, like, I guess it's, like, a casting director problem and all that stuff, but
yeah,
that just goes to show, I just, like, there's a lot of disrespectful things going on towards the, you know, the Quileute tribe, and we're not here for it.
Yeah, because I had gotten, when I did the, like, on TikTok, I did some videos where it was it was like Twilight lines from each movie. Mm-hmm. And I did all of them, and I had put for, like, ranking last, and I wouldn't mouth the line, was when Alice in New Moon and Rosalie in Breaking Dawn, when they called Jacob a dog. And I didn't understand that when I was young, how wrong that was. And then getting into, like, Twilight Tumblr and doing research, it appalled me. I'm like, this is so wrong. Like, I don't think they understand how. And people like to say the defense that, you know, Jacob calls them bloodsuckers and leeches, and yes,
but they are, you know, like
they are, but it's calling him, and, like, yes, Jacob is a werewolf, but they don't understand how that term, calling a native or a person of color a dog, has, like, history behind it that happened in real life.
I think the difference there is that that Jacob can't really, and Jacob and the wolf can't control the fact that they are wolves. You know, like, it's, and actually it's the vampire's fault that they're even wolves. Like, Like, and so that's something that's wrong. Like, saying that they're dogs is wrong.
Yeah.
And then, and then in that whole scene, the deleted scene with Rosalie and the dog bowl. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's funny, like, whatever. Jacob throws it at her head, but, like, that's a little... She said, oh, what did she say, mongrel?
Yeah, oh my god. I was like, why you gotta do that?
Well, I guess it was a deleted scene for the reason. Maybe they were like, that's not in good taste.
Yeah. I think it happened in the book.
I think so, too.
I can't remember... My dog is at the staircase looking at me.
He's like, are you going to let me through?
I think he's not used to me being upstairs in the morning, so he's waiting for me to come downstairs to cuddle with him.
I guess another thing that we can talk, like, controversial. Well, I guess it's not really controversial, but a lot of these problems can also be due to the fact that Stephanie is Mormon.
Yes.
And a lot of people say that this, like, the whole Twilight Saga is very, like, has a lot of Mormon themes in it.
Yeah, and she has admitted that her growing up in the LDS church, it has influenced her work. So, and like there's a lot of those themes that fit into the Mormon religion of, like, destiny and fate and eternal life, and it's also in the host. So it pops up.
So I think that I mean, you know, sometimes it takes a lot for people to realize, like, I don't know if she's still actively Mormon and, like, practices that. One little thing, because I do know that in Mormon religions, they're not allowed to watch TV, or, like, if you're, like, really, really hardcore, like, into it, like, they're not allowed to really watch TV, and, like, Bella doesn't really watch TV.
She reads.
She reads. Which is great.
I don't know what that is. The doorbell just rang. Oh my god, what if it's the gift?
That's what I'm thinking. I was like, oh wait. I'm like, well, my mailman should be coming by soon, I think. So,
yours should get there today or Monday.
So because I have some family members who are practicing Mormons, and they're pretty intense. You know, they're not really allowed to do a lot of things, and there's a lot of rules.
They can't drink coffee or soda, caffeine. Can't smoke. And so Bella, you know, none of her characters have done that. Yeah.
Well, Charlie drinks, but I guess Charlie's, like, can be kind of seen like he's kind of like the outsider of this whole thing.
Hold on. Yeah. Dad, I'll come down and get it when I'm done. I think it's the gift.
Oh, yay.
I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb for this, but then I have this, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay.
It's okay, hold on. What is it? I can't hear you. Oh, no. Okay. Break.
Interlude.
So, some things, I guess, another thing is misogyny that we see in it.
Oh, this kind of goes into a little thing I had put down, which I don't know. I think it would fall into sex. I don't know.
Misogyny,
this
sexism.
Was brought up, it was brought up in, after doing a lot of critical thinking and also with Twilight Tumblr. I noticed how, besides, like, Renee and Bella, every female in the Twilight Saga, like, the female characters have had a horrible, like, event or horrible past compared to the males. Because it's like, Edward died from Spanish influenza. Emmett was mauled by a bear. Carlisle was attacked by a vampire. And then you have
Jasper was seduced,
turned by Maria. And then you've got Rosalie, who was, trigger warning, assaulted, beaten to death, Alice, who was locked in an insane asylum. You had Esme, who jumped off a cliff. And then it just, why do all the females have horrible backstories?
Also, I mean, I guess we can also throw Renee into that, though, because Renee is, not that she has, like, a traumatic past, but she's represented in a very bad light, which is fine, because that's, I guess it's, like, a realistic thing. Like, people have parents like that.
Victoria was abused.
And also Victoria was also painted as this, like, revenge, like, holding grudge type person, which is like, okay, whatever, you need things for story purposes, but, like, I don't know. I want to say in the Midnight Sun, if you, spoiler alert, when Edward was when they met Siobhan, I think
Siobhan,
they met her, not that it was like, I guess it was just like a little sexist to, like, the way he was describing her, because he was just like her curves, and she was very, like, voluptuous, like, and then, but no one else is described that way.
Exactly. Like, why? Come on.
Like, he could have even, like, met a male and, like, been like, wow, like, I mean, this man is very attractive, like, but that never happened, you know, like,
exactly,
for them, like, to be, I guess, that way. Also, Leah, painted as a bitch. Rosalie, painted as a bitch. And so pretty much, like, all of them were painted as, like, I mean, all the females were painted in some kind of light. Like, it's just, it's like, I guess, like, I don't know. I think that it just would have been maybe not better, but, like, why couldn't some of the men have, like, these traumatic experiences, like getting mauled by a bear, like,
yeah, that is horrible. That is horrible, but it's like, and then, see, she didn't do that until Life and Death, because Life and Death is the gender bent version, and Royal, who is Rosalie's counterpart in Life and Death, his backstory is he was murdered by his lover's ex, like, other side lover. So it was kind of like she kind of gave them, and then Alice's counterpart, Archie, kind of had the same backstory as Alice had with being locked away.
Yeah. So
it kind of works. She kind of, it's like, why did, in Twilight, the original one, why did only the females have, like, these horrible and, like, very sad and devastating ones, whereas Carlisle just got bit on the hand and that.
Yeah. Another thing that is I can kind of go into the misogyny, the sexism, is kind of like all the girls there being either dependent on their male partners, or even, like, being, like, damsels in distress.
Yeah.
I mean, we see that, like, Bella, okay, like, all the times that we've seen Bella sad is when she's not depending on a male relationship.
Yeah.
You know, before she met Edward, she was sad that she was there at her dad's. Then she met Edward in love, whatever. He leaves a new moon. She's sad. And then she meets Jacob, or not meets Jacob, but her and Jacob start hanging out. She's happy again. Like, so all the times that we've seen her sad or only happy is when she's, like, in a, like in a male relationship. I guess I love Esme, but I think that her character is also very, like a traditional, like, housewife, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't she doesn't work. She, like, keeps up the house. She, you know,
like, all she does is design houses and builds them, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, she could easily be the breadwinner.
Easily, yeah. But
easily.
So I think that there's a lot of damsel in distress, like, type energy. Also, like, Jessica being, like, very, like like a pick me, choose me kind of girl.
Yeah.
That's also very like, I guess it's just like a character thing too, but like,
and again, it can go into the Mormon beliefs where, you know, they have those very conservative traditional values of women.
I would probably beg to or say that Esme is probably a very traditional Mormon housewife.
Yeah.
Like from what I've seen, because I have a couple family members who are Mormon. I've kind of seen their whole side, and she's pretty much, you know, we never really see Esme like, you know, be a boss bitch, you know.
They did give us her that kind of in the movies, which I kind of love, but at the same time, it just like.
But then also
they didn't do that with Rose.
They cut out a lot of her like boss bitch scenes, like the whole part. There's one deleted scene in Twilight where it kind of shows her relationship dynamic with Carlisle after she meets Bella, and she's very like. It shows that she has a working part in this relationship with Carlisle, and she's like, no, like you're worried too much, and blah 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 blah, and then like they kiss or whatever, like something cute, like that was amazing. I was like, okay, well, yeah, like it just shows that she's like like compromised and like a real relationship, but then they cut it.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
And then I guess we kind of see that too in like in Breaking Dawn, part 1, where she was like, it's a fetus, or just it's a baby in Rose, you know, like she gets after them like that, you know. But I mean, like we don't. I just wish we got more like boss moments from Esme. And I guess the moments that we do get from her are like amazing, right? Like whenever she wanted to take in Bree. And it's fine. I think it's also very telling to her kind of like story, because she did lose a child. So it's okay for her to want to be more motherly, like that's her thing. But like also like I mean some mothers are like pretty like like bosses, and you know they don't take shit. So I think that.
Amen.
Okay. This one part says that. Oh, okay. This is a pretty long article. It's from the Daily Targum. It's actually written November 5th, 2020. So it says, ruining your childhood, misogyny, abuse in the Twilight Saga. It says, vampire sexism, assault, and ridiculously misogynistic men with savior complexes may not be what comes to mind when thinking about the Twilight Saga, but it is an accurate summary of the series. Because we do have, assault. Jacob does kiss Bella without consent.
Yeah.
She punches him.
As she should.
As she should. But then she kind of gets gaslighted at the end of Eclipse.
I know.
To Jacob kissing, just because. And you know what?
That
whole kiss was so pointless. Why was that kiss necessary? Like,
I don't know.
She did it because Jacob found out that her and Edward were gonna get married. He was gonna find out sooner or later.
He throws a fit.
He
goes the whole, I'm gonna kill myself if, trigger warning, he's gonna go, I'm gonna kill myself and make it easier for you. That is literally grade A manipulation right there.
Yeah, gaslighting. and then like it just didn't make sense, because she was like, kiss me. They kiss and he leaves. Like, so what? Like she did,
what was the reason?
Like, there was like absolutely no reason for that. There was a TikTok actually. I wish I knew who said it, and maybe I saved it. I'm like, did I save it? There's a TikTok. If I find it, I'll put the username up. But they made a video saying that Eclipse would have been so much better if they made it in like literally afternoon. Like Bella and Edward literally, trigger warning, tried to unalive themselves for not being in a relationship with each other, for each other, which is also not a good message to put out there, tried to unalive themselves for each other, and then they come back in Eclipse, and then they're in a love triangle. And then they get married after this love triangle. I think that, and so the TikTok was saying like Eclipse would have been so much more effective if they focused it more on Edward and Bella trying to save and like rekindle and work on their relationship issues, instead of them like being in this like shitty love triangle that like doesn't make sense, because we know in the end that Bella's gonna choose Edward. Like I would have understood the love triangle if Bella was like literally having a hard time trying to choose between Bella or between Edward and Jacob, but I don't think that was ever really conveyed, that she was having this power struggle between the two, because she always told Jacob it's always been him, blah 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 blah. Like even in New Moon, he would mention the Cullens and she would get all depressed, and so it was like, so we know who she was gonna choose, and I think that it was just like a point. It's a pointless like love triangle that I guess really didn't need to happen, and it would have avoided a lot of and it would have been more interesting to me to see them try to navigate that. They could have still had these issues that they were like that were happening, maybe not like the kissing thing or whatever, and Jacob could have still been involved by helping out and all that stuff, but
yeah,
just why the love triangle?
It could have been executed so much more better.
It really could have, and if it was a love triangle, I think that maybe we should have seen like a very clear struggle between the two. Because in my mind, like, or when I was watching it, it was never really made like that. Like Bella was really trying to choose between the two.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like it just, maybe New Moon. I get like the New Moon stuff, because Jacob helped her, all this stuff, but then like Eclipse was just kind of like thrown in there, I guess. And I know Eclipse is your favorite, right?
See, Eclipse is my favorite because I'm a sucker for learning for side characters. I'm a sucker for side characters, and that's where the side characters really shine in Eclipse. We get Rosalie's backstory, we get Jasper's backstory, which is another controversial topic, which if we want to get into that, we definitely can. And then we get like the revenge part of Victoria and like the newborns. And then the Volturi at the end. I like that stuff. The shitty love triangle, I can't stand.
Yeah.
I'm literally only here for Eclipse for those reasons. New Moon has really become... New Moon's actually getting up there with my favorite. After I reread it this summer, and especially with this hard year, New Moon... even though New Moon doesn't have like a lot of Edward and the Cullens, I think I relate to Bella more in New Moon, which is why it's becoming one of my favorites.
I like New Moon. For me, I think Eclipse is probably like my least favorite, only because I don't know, I guess like maybe the conflict, or I don't know, it's just like sometimes it moves slowly for me because you have to like establish a lot of things for these things. So I don't know, but maybe I think that's probably a reason why. So here it says that let's talk about the stalking.
Shit. Which
I think maybe Midnight Sun sheds a little bit of light on the whole situation. He made I think maybe she evolved a little bit from the whole. Stephenie Meyer is evolving a little bit and kind of recognizes that it's weird. By having Edward acknowledge that it is weird.
My God, I was laughing so hard. I was like, what you're doing is weird, and yet here you are killing spiders in her room.
Yeah, so I guess that, to me, okay, that puts a bad notion out, because it's like, you should, that puts out the narrative that if someone is stalking you, you should probably fall in love with them. That's which is very bad for underage girls, because that is never okay. If someone is stalking you, breaking
you
into
file
your room,
that restraining order.
Yes.
You get that baseball bat.
Don't think that is, unless it's like an agreement, unless you and someone have made an agreement that it's okay for them to be in your room in the middle of the night and come in through your window while you're asleep, then don't. Then don't. But Edward was really on some like grade A like stalking, like he was up there, like top level.
Honestly, if it was me,
to the point where he would he would only go home to change, and then he would go back to Bella's.
That is Edward. I'm sorry. If it was me, screw the myth of the steak can't hurt him. I'm taking that steak and using it.
Yeah. And oh my goodness, it's just such a like it was so funny. He would hide out in the woods. He would go home, change, come back, hide out in the woods until he knew she was sleeping, and then psych himself out so bad. Like I think at some point in Midnight Sun he said that like, what if a meteor came and hit the house?
I'm like, okay, you know what? I was like, Edward, you are making me even more anxious than you think. A meteor? Seriously? I knew Stephanie Meyer wasn't joking when Edward is an overthinker, but
baby boy is a hardcore overthinker. And I guess his reasoning was just like, Bella is the clumsiest person I know. Like, if there was a meteor to hit, it would be at her house. Like, no doubt about it. So, not that I don't want to excuse his stalking, but I think Midnight Sun maybe not made it better, but you know, he was doing it for protective reasons. And also, not only did he do it for protective reasons, he also did it to like basically scorch his throat and nostrils to get used to her scent. And then
he's I'm in pain.
Yeah, Spain without the S. Then we also have he followed her to Port Angeles, but then saved her life.
Yeah. See, when I'm rereading Eclipse, right? And I'm like, God, you're controlling. Especially because it's all like, Bella, like, I understand he's all like, it's not you I don't trust. It's Jacob I don't trust. And yes, okay. But you are literally, like, keeping her at your house because you don't want her going to see her friend. And it's like, I don't understand. If he loves her and he wants her to be happy, why are you depriving her from something that will make her happy?
Yeah, that is something that was here too. That Edward is a little controlling. Maybe not a little, but a lot of controlling. And I get it. The whole like, you know, she is clumsy and, you know, Jacob is in love with her and whatever. But like it's just a little out there.
Not a good look for you, boo boo.
Yeah. So here it says, here are a few honorable mentions out of the countless sexist instances in this film. Edward's constant objectification of Bella, whether it be by creepily staring at her or saying crap like, your scent is like a drug to me. The scene where a group of guys harass Bella as she's having dinner with her father by shaking their asses in the window. An absolutely unnecessary scene of the same boys pointing at Bella's friend's breasts as they try on prom dresses in the clothing store. Yeah.
That was not a good one.
That was,
Yikes.
Yeah. Yikes. It says, as if Twilight couldn't get any worse, it severely lacks diversity, and in its feeble attempts to diversify, it just ends up being stereotypical, which we talked about. It says, in fact, in the first film, there's only one Asian character, Eric, who basically embodies the nerdy Asian trope. and one major black character, killer vampire Laurent, and he has an accent for no reason, is what they said. So in the article, that's what they said.
Yeah.
And I think that the character who played Laurent does not have an accent. I'm pretty sure he's American. I've seen videos of him doing like behind the scenes, and he doesn't have an accent like the one he has in the.
Cause like I know he had to fake an accent because Laurent is French.
Yeah.
In the book, so. Yeah.
And then I guess I don't really know if there's anything that's stereotypical that Tyler did, because Tyler is the other only black character in the story, but other than Tyler
almost crushing her with the van.
Yeah, or I guess also just like the fact that in the book, like Eric and Mike and Tyler were all kind of like fighting for her affection without her kind of like knowing or condoning that. So I guess that's one. They also put also, did I mention that both of these characters barely get any screen time? They're talking about I think they're talking about the Eric and Laurent, that they don't get a lot of screen time. And then they said, in fact, Jasper, Edward's quote-unquote brother, admitted to being a whole Confederate soldier during the Civil War, and we were just supposed to be okay with that. So.
Ugh! Any other backstory? And you chose that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like that's a whole episode.
Yeah, that is another whole episode, but that's there. I mean, we do know that that Jasper was a Confederate soldier. Yikes.
Yikes.
We don't have to tell you why that's wrong, right?
Exactly.
Well, okay. Let's, in case you don't know, let's do a little history lesson. So I'm gonna do a quick little Google search. The Confederate States, which is army, also called the Confederate Army or simply the Southern Army, was the military land force of the Confederate States. And basically, when they were fighting, the Confederacy was fighting to keep slavery. Basically, so they were for it. They wanted to keep it, and that is what Jasper was fighting for. I'm not sure if a lot of people back then, who were fought in the Confederate Army had choices to fight in the Confederate Army. I don't know if a lot of them were just drafted or how that, I don't know how that situation worked out.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, but which I probably should educate myself more on it. But from what I know with Jasper is, I think it is written set in stone that Jasper did volunteer and lied about his age.
Yes.
So that's a problem, because honestly, I understand the defense that people want to defend it, that Jasper, back in that time, that's what it was like. It was a man's honor to be in the military, fight for their state, and even if he didn't agree with it, he had to. And I can understand that defense, but it's written in canon that he lied about his age and did it willingly. So that's what makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, the fact that he was
because you can't really excuse it at that point.
He was very yeehaw about the situation, and I not to say that maybe your past dictates the person you are. The whole him signing up for it, and I do know. I remember Stephanie saying somewhere that she chose Jasper's name by looking at lists of draft drafting lists or whatever. But yeah. Let's see what else I have here really quickly. We've talked about the Mormon imagery. Okay, let's see. So it says here that, when was this written? This was written in 2010. So I think right before Eclipse came out. Someone said, I think people make up all these Mormon references just so they can publish Twilight articles in respectable publications like the New York Times. Okay. So it says the story's teenage heroine Bella avoids coffee, tea, alcohol, tobacco. She also advises her father to cut back on steak, much like Mormon teaching to eat meat and poultry sparingly. Feminists have questioned Bella's frequent cooking and cleaning household chores that reflect a strong Mormon work ethic and traditional roles for women. You know, she went from being a parent to her mom to kind of like maybe not being a parent for maybe not being a parent for Charlie, but you know, she did kind of like cook and clean and do all that in the books for him. Yeah. So that's one thing. So it says a crucial Mormon belief is that humans can become divine. In the Twilight series, the Cullen family of vampires was once human but now lives without death in a resurrected condition. Their immortality is a kind of probationary period for eternal life. Meyer describes the Cullens, particularly Edward, as godlike and inhumanly beautiful. Mormon believe angels are resurrected beings of flesh and bone. The most familiar is Moroni, who stands high atop Mormon temples, trumpet in hand. The Book of Mormon says Moroni was a 5th century prophet who visited founder Joseph Smith in 1823. Smith described Moroni as radiating light and glorious beyond description. Bella describes her vampire boyfriend Edward as an angel whom she can't imagine any more glorious. Edward's skin sparkles in the sunlight and when he visits Bella's room at night, but Mormon angels don't have wings. In the Twilight film, Edward sits in the science lab, the outstretched wings of a stuffed white owl over his shoulders. Do you remember seeing? I don't know if you've seen that before. It's when Bella walks in and it cuts to Edward and he's like covering there's an owl behind him that has its wings like stretched out, so it looks like Edward has wings.
Oh my gosh, I swear I have that pitch like screen image because it's one of my favorites. Okay, I gotta go look at it after this.
Okay, so then a unique Mormon teaching is that marriages are sealed for eternity. So that goes like the whole Bella and Edward forever notion. Bella and Edward's marriage and her quick pregnancy underscore the Mormon emphasis on family. Let's see. Just a lot of feminism stuff.
Yeah.
Mainly everything we talked about. There's just a lot of little things here and there. Yeah. They talk about how bad of a mom Renee is.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, we know that. We know that. But we did talk about it in the last episode that it was because, well, not that it's because, but Renee is an Aries, so she's very
free-spirited.
Yes. My mom's an Aries, very free-spirited.
My mom's an Aries.
So
she's a little more grounded, but she's still very free-spirited.
Yeah.
I think it's because my mom's got like a Virgo moon.
Probably. I don't know what my mom has, but probably a lot of fire sign. But I think I don't think we talked about what we thought Renee's like main three were, but for sure she's an Aries.
She's an Aries. I think she was very emotional when Bella had, the accident and stuff. So I think she might have a water moon.
Yeah, for sure.
Like and Scorpio. Scorpio.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yikes. But yeah, I think now it's time for your thing. Oh, but before we get into that, Rhea and I were gonna do a little Christmas gift exchange, but her present is there, but my present has not gotten here. But like, I low-key want you to open your present right now.
Like right now?
Yeah.
You sure? You don't want to do it on live?
Yeah, I don't need that. I'm like, it's already there. Like, you're gonna be sitting there like just looking at it, like wanting to open it, and I'm just like.
Okay, hopefully yours will get there, and then you could do it on live.
Yes.
So I can watch your reaction. Okay, un momento. Is this it?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Does it say like the seller on it?
Not really.
That is it. It is. Where was it shipped from?
United Kingdom?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do, Raven? I'm gonna cry. Oh! No, you didn't! No, oh my god. Oh my god. My hair. Oh my. No, you didn't. Raven! Oh my god. Oh my god. This is so easy. Raven, this is so thoughtful. Oh my god, I love it. Thank you. Oh my god, my thingy. Thank you so much.
Did your lip piercing fall out?
No, what happened was when I smiled so big, it like inverted and I could feel it like sticking. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Yay!
I jumped out. Bryce.
Are Dimitri and Felix on there?
Let me see. Even if they're not, it's okay. But oh my god, Kellen. Boo Boo. Oh my gosh.
Oh, love that.
I'll have to like look up all of their
Their names. Let me see.
Oh my god. Well, there's Cam, who played Alec.
So Dimitri and Felix have to be on there.
They have
Charlie
to be.
Bewley is Dimitri.
Yeah, and then Daniel Cudmore was Felix.
It has to be on there.
I'm gonna like look up their freaking Mike. Good old Mike. This is so. And you know, I've seen this before, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And
I see Bryce Dallas Howard is on there.
Bryce, yeah. Bronson.
Dude, some of these signatures are so weird.
Julia, my girl.
Melissa Rosenberg is there. Oh, look, right under Bryce Dallas Howard is Nikki Reeds, I think.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm trying to look at them like, okay, like there's one right next to the title. Is that Stephanie Myers?
That is hers. I recognize that squiggly S anywhere.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I think I'm pretty sure that's Stephanie Myers. And then I'm trying to look. I have it here on my computer. I'm trying to. Where's Kristen Stewart? Is that?
I think that's it.
Let me see. Oh, I think so. Oh yes, and then. Oh, Robert Pattinson, I think right there at the bottom. It looks like a K. I think, maybe. It looks like a K, and then it looks like a P. I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, I think I see Peter's. It's right above the one with an A.
Oh, yeah. I see Tinsley, who played Emily.
Mm-hmm.
I see Kiowa's. Liz Reeser, yes ma'am.
I see Jodelle Ferland, who played Bree.
These two are the ones I can't really tell.
I know. What if those are
watch
Dimitri
one of these
Felix? They're right next to each other.
Watch those be my boys.
Okay, I'm gonna search up real quick. Before we get into your segment, I'm gonna search up what is the character who played Felix?
Daniel Cudmore.
Okay, Daniel Cudmore. He is 6'7". Wow.
Yeah.
We talked about this last time, but wow.
He played Colossus in the X-Men movies.
Okay. Let me go back and look, because I think... Oh, that's so hard to... His is like literally kind of like squiggly lines. It looks like this nicer version is like a big D that's like very squiggly, and then it's like squiggles, and then an L, and then a really quick C, and then an L.
It could be that one.
Let me see. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
That is it.
Yeah.
And then let me see Dimitri. Yay! I'm so happy you got it.
Us. We got Sarah Clark, who played Renee.
Oh, I love that for her.
Okay, if we got Renee on here, we gotta have Dimitri. He had some lines.
Okay, wow, his is very intense.
Oh no. Watch it be one of these two.
It kind of starts with it kind of looks like the beginning looks like a cross with like an 8 in it.
Is it that one?
It's the one right next to it.
This one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm over the moon. Wow.
Oh, no. His is, now that I'm looking at it, because I have it here on my screen, his is the one right next to Jodelle Ferland.
This one?
Yes. It's because the way that I see here, he has like this weird symbol for his signature. It goes like this. Look, I'm going to draw it here. It's like this, and then he has like... I don't know if you can see that.
It's that one. Yeah, I see it. Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know. His signature is like very like symbol, like very.
That is intense.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. Let me see Ashley Green's signature. I know she has to be on there.
I think it's this one because it says A and then G.
Hers is very pretty, like a very.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's her.
That's her with the A and then the G. And then I think this. See.
Oh,
this
that one
looks
at
like
the bottom
it says Pat's.
Yeah.
This one says Pat's, so I'm thinking this is Kellen's. And then this one right here it says our Pat's right there.
Oh my gosh. You literally have their signature like in your hand. Also, I love that Rob didn't even care that someone else's name was right there. He just like signed over it.
That's literally whose is that he literally just went over? It looks like a B.
It was like, I don't care. There's one right. It kind of looks like Edward. I can't tell. It's okay. So if you look at Ashley Green's, there's one right next to hers that has like an M and a W. That's Michael Welch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's
and then
the one on top of that with an E on it.
Oh, that's Elizabeth Reeser. That's Esme.
Oh, okay, love that.
I think... I don't know whose this is. It might be... I don't know. It might be Jackson? No. I don't know, but they put a smiley face in the R.
Oh, I feel like Jackson would do that.
I feel like Jackson... We got, Christian, who played Angela.
Actually, I think that might be Jackson, because it looks like a J connected to an R.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to search up really quickly. Guys, we were talking about so much.
We're at 2 hours. Oh my god, this is going to be...
And now we were talking... That is his signature.
That's his... I had a feeling. He always, I think,
he specifically does a smiley face in his signature.
Yeah.
What a cutie pie. Oh my gosh.
I love him. Oh my god, my babies. I want to go to... just I wish they would go to FTF next year while we're there.
I know.
Let's recreate the baseball scene with them.
I know. I see Boo Boo. Like, I see that one.
Boo Boo.
Robert I just need to know who Robert signed over.
That's the thing. It looks like a B, so I'm all like...
It looks like a B and a W. Oh.
It's not Billy Burke, because Billy would have had another B.
I wonder if Billy signed it, though. He has to have signed it. He was like...
Yeah.
Let me search it up real quick. Oh, okay. One of the messy ones is Billy's. It's the... Yikes. It kind of looks like...
Is it...
I think it's that one. The one... that one.
This one?
I think so. Everyone's just here watching us analyze these signatures.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I love that.
Who is right under Boo Boo?
It says Catalino?
Yeah. Is that...
I don't know. That name doesn't sound... I don't know. Maybe it could be one of the producers?
Do you think... Aro... Well, Aro didn't really show up a lot in this movie, but do you think...
I don't think I see Michael Sheen's.
Oh, Dakota Fanning? Michael Sheen's just is like an M and like a really squiggly S.
Oh yeah, he ain't on this one. I'm trying to look for Dakotas.
Let me search it up real quick. every time I'm gonna search it up. Dakota Fanning signature.
We got Jill, aka Billy.
Love. Oh, so Dakota.
Oh, there it is.
Like...
Oh, I think this is it. Wait, that looks like a Dakota. I don't know.
Oh, I don't even... Hold on, let me see. I don't even know. Oh.
That one?
I think that's hers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think she did like an F in the beginning and then like a really like messy G. This is like Dakota Fanning. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Raven, you totally... Oh my god, wow. I was not expecting that.
Okay, and before honestly, you're like, how much money did you spend? I kept it under the budget because I think we had to like 20-25. So the thing was like between 20 and 25. The thing that cost the most was shipping because it shipped from London. But like, shipping doesn't count.
Honestly, when I saw it, I was like, watch this be out. I was like, if this is a framed picture of Tom Hiddleston, I'm gonna lose it. Because I could feel the thickness, and I'm like, no.
Well, now instead of reading Eclipse, you can read the script.
Yes!
I love that.
God. Thank you so much.
I would like to say that Mare would get mad if we don't talk about her every episode.
Hi, Mare.
So I will say that I was texting Mare back and forth, like, what do I get Rhe? And I was between, like, a whole bunch of things. And I, like, was sending her pictures. And I was like, do I get her this? Do I get her this? And then I sent her the Twilight script. like the just like normal Twilight script, and she was like, do they have one of the Eclipse? It's her favorite. And I was like, oh, let me go check. And they had one. So thank you to Mare for helping out with this gift exchange.
Mare. You the...
Oh.
I forgot the word I was going to say.
The goat. She's the goat.
She's the goat.
Okay, do you want to... now it's time for Rhee's weekly read. I will shut up. And
No, okay. We are at... I'm going to keep this short and sweet, guys, because we are, like... This is a long episode, but, hey, this was fun. We got some good conversations, and then you got a little treat, which was a little treat to me, and worth it. So... Today's weekly read, well, I didn't read it this week. I read this over the summer. This is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It is the Hunger Games prequel that was released in May. So, Suzanne Collins announced that she was writing a prequel to the Hunger Games, I think this time last year. And then it went up for a pre-order, and... Then I pre-ordered it the same day Midnight Sun dropped, so I was like, okay, we're gonna get them both. And so if you're a Hunger Games fan, this book was something. Because it follows Snow. It's not in first person like the trilogy, and it follows Snow during the 10th Hunger Games as he is a capital mentor. And there's a lot of references to the trilogy that, like you piece together, like, oh, this, I understand this, because a lot of, like, the history behind what we see in the trilogy takes place in this book. I will say, I have mixed feelings about this book because it was a good read and it kept me invested in a page turner, but then I got to the ending and I'm like, what? I was like, what is this ending? Because... It felt like she was going away from the original canon, which I don't really like when authors do that because then it makes things confusing, which is a problem that I have with J.K. Rowling with the Fantastic Beasts franchise, is it just strayed away from the original Harry Potter and messes up canon. So when I was reading this book, there was a lot of things that I'm like, okay, this is straying away from original canon. This doesn't make sense because it's like, it's canon this, it's canon that, why, what's this, what's that? And then it all comes together and ties up at the end, but it's one of those shocking things that I'm like, what? And then it leaves open for question about some other things. And it does show why Snow is the person he is in the trilogy. It does, see, the thing is that I hate Snow. And this book kind of made me sympathize with Snow because we see a more humanity side to him, and we wonder what takes place in this book that makes Snow such the vile, cruel, narcissistic person he is in the trilogy. And then we kind of see it, the events that happen in here kind of set him up. So it makes sense, but it just... I'm like, wow. I was like, why you did this for what?
I've never read the Hunger Games books. I really love the movies, though. But something that I think is really important, too, since we were talking about controversial topics in Twilight, I think these are two different examples of two very good examples of how to use these controversial topics to shed light on them. That I think that Hunger Games does really well. You know, there's a lot of things in there, you know, that are controversial, but they're for the story. And I think that contrary, obviously they're two different writers, two different stories, two different worlds. But contrary to Stephanie, I don't know if she really put like a lot of metaphors and like if she was meaning to put these kind of like metaphorical things in there, which I think if she was meaning to put these metaphorical things in there, then that's kind of worse because like the story doesn't lend itself to like to open conversations, which I think that Hunger Games is kind of meant to do. It's, you know, like Hunger Games is meant to open like conversations for dystopias and, you know, bad leaders and all that stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So
because when I read, I did like I didn't do I'm sorry about my dog.
It's okay.
I didn't do a update series with this because it was such a new release, and then I had people asking me about my thoughts, and it's like I felt bad because it was kind of like I enjoyed it, but then I didn't enjoy it because it was a page turner. It kept me invested, and it just. But then I got to the ending, and I'm like, what? Because it kind of like just the way it's hard to explain because I'm like, no, like what? But then it's so hard to explain without spoiling it. Because if you ever do read the books, then I highly like encourage to kind of read this, because then it's like, oh, it's gonna just blow your mind. Because I didn't like snow. No one who likes snow in the original trilogy. No one. And then I'm reading this, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel so bad. And I'm like, no, stop it. He's horrible. And then you find out why, and the themes, because I mean, it says like, you know, it kind of foreshadows the back of it. It says ambition will fuel him, which is snow. Mm-hmm. Competition will drive him, which is kind of like the main theme because he's a mentor for the District 12 female. And that was the thing. See, that was the thing when she announced this book. I was skeptical and I was curious because it said that Snow was the mentor to the District 12 female. And it was written in canon in the trilogy that Katniss was the first ever female from District 12 to win. So it's canon that Katniss is the winner. So if he is the District 12 female's mentor, and it says that, you know, he might, like, the odds are against him, and he starts to feel for her, I'm like, okay, this is not going to end well. How is this going to end? Because if it's canon that Katniss is the first female victor, where does Lucy Gray, the female tribute, play into this? Because it's like, there's like one of two things. Either she dies in the games, which it's still the trial era of the games because it's the 10th. It's not as technical how they end, like, eventful as it was. It's very more brutal and cruel and inhumane. So it's like either she dies in the games or there's something that happens, and it's like. Mm-hmm. So I was curious, but then I'm like, okay, how is this gonna play into canon? And then it does tie up the loose ends at the end, but it just like it kind of blows your mind, and it's like, why? Yeah, it's like, what?
My goal is to reread all of the Twilight books one last time, and then reread Harry Potter, and then I'll get into Hunger Games after that. But wow, we have had a very eventful episode.
Yes, we did. It was a good episode.
Yes, and I guess. Oh, if you guys want to see me open my gift, I will open it on Monday on our live.
Yes, it should get there.
Yes,
I mailed it priority, so it should get there.
So tune in on Monday on our Instagram live. We go live around like 5 or 6, and then follow us on all of our socials. Instagram at the Bite Podcast RR. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, because we do have a lot of listeners, but they're not following us. So, guys, come on,
guys, help us. But and don't forget to check out the links in our Flow page where you can help the Carver Cafe, help the Queelet tribe.
Yes, and follow us on TikTok. We have at the Bite Podcast TikTok at the Bite Podcast RR, and then my personal one is at Raven and Woods, and then we have at Life Size Coraline for Rhe, and yeah, that's it for episode 6.
If you go to our TikTok, you might see a little video
sneak peeks.
A certain pixie vampire and certain doctor.
Yes, go to our TikTok to go watch the shout out that we got from Ashley Green and Peter Facinelli. Yay! But Yeah, oh my god, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you guys next time when we talk about, and I haven't, we'll see you on December 28th, where we talk about Twilight characters and their SpongeBob counterpart. Shout out to Mare for generating this idea. And the world of Charlie Swan, where we talk about all things our chief Swan, leader of the police at Forks, Washington. We will talk about all things Charlie Swan.
Yes.
No things left not talked about next episode. So we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
See ya. Thanks for joining.